Good morning. My name is Miles McDonald, and today I will be giving you a guide on how to keep your shareholders happy. This is for anyone who may be a CEO, serves as a chairman on the board of directors, and has to ensure that your shareholders and stakeholders are happy in your leadership. So let's get started. Just as a background, we're going to be talking about a man named Mark Johnson, who has recently been appointed as the CEO of Aggie Investment Group. Aggie Investment Group is a London-based mid-market PE shop that is specializing in apartment buyouts. Mark decides that he would like to send yearly memos to all of his shareholders to give them updates. However, they are extremely long. They sort of get into an incoherent ramble. A lot of the shareholders have no idea how to find key and pertinent information, and they are starting to grow distrustful in Mark's ability to lead. So I want to give a few keys as to ways that Mark should improve upon his memos. Number one is the communication piece. So when providing memos to your shareholders, you want to ensure that you're communicating not only clearly, but regularly. The issue is Mark wants to send memos once a year. He does this in an email format, which seems a bit informal to shareholders, as well as they're not able to find the key information that they need. So my fix is that I suggest that the memos should be quarterly. And the reason that you want it to be quarterly is it hyper focuses on the lack of irregular timing, and because they're more frequent, they're also shorter. A lot of these people who are investors and on the board have other obligations, and so you want to be able to send them quarterly memos and to give them a snapshot not only to the financial health of the organization, but also goals that you have going into the next quarter. Number two is transparency. Building transparency is imperative in building that relationship and that trust with your shareholders. So the issue is Mark oftentimes, he refrains from full insight into the company's financial health, as well as other issues that may be affecting operations. And this comes off as seeming as an omission of truth. And my fix is that I suggest that Mark be a lot more open into the struggles. They're not calling Mark in to be a superhero to fix every problem immediately, but being able to be upfront about any issues that the company has allows shareholders to continue to build that trust. Another very important is to keep your promise. If you make a promise to shareholders, you must do whatever it takes to keep it. The issue is that Mark has provided lofty goals in the past, and a lot of shareholders have not seen those goals come to fruition. So my fix is that I suggest that Mark provides only one goal per quarterly memo. That way he can stay on top of making sure that one thing is taken care of and provide updates in the future quarterly memos. So in order to fix the ineffective communication that Mark has been dealing with, my very first solution is that Mark hosts quarterly Zoom calls to update shareholders rather than his yearly memos. The reason I say Zoom calls is while yes, we understand that a lot of the shareholders and the investors are busy, it's very nice to hear Mark's voice and to provide some life into the memos. This format also allows for him to be able to answer any pertinent questions that any of the shareholders have in order to ensure that that communication is delivered clearly. As well as the quarterly part, again, speaks more into the frequency that allows the investors to always understand what's going on 3-month increments. My second solution would be that if Mark wants to continue to have his memos on a yearly basis, he should host a shareholders only dinner. I feel like this goes a bit deeper into not only building that trust, but building that relationship with your shareholders, because you're able to actually shake their hands, have conversation, and have face-to-face conversation to answer any of those questions. My final solution is pick number one. When doing research, a study conducted by Chicago Booth Business School showed that when economists were asked if yearly earnings were on net benefited a better positive benefit on European firms, 34% of them were uncertain. They couldn't decide whether the yearly frequency was better than quarterly frequency. On top of that, only 16% of them thought it was beneficial, while 18% voted that they disagreed. And it felt that the strategy of having these yearly memos or these yearly reportings were not more beneficial. And so I suggested pick number one because it allows it to be a better frequency, which economists in Europe, the market in which Mark operates, Aggie Investment Group, feel that it is better to do quarterly rather than yearly. As well as the reason I didn't pick solution two is while doing the yearly dinners are more intimate of a gathering, it's more costly, as well as you have to be able to figure out the logistics and the additional costs in order to pull off this yearly dinner. Closing points. On top of the frequency of the reporting, I feel as though Mark should also emphasize transparency. He should be a lot more open in talking about the financial health, any operational inefficiencies for the company, as well as goals. When it comes to his goals, though, don't be lofty. Don't print out a laundry wish list of things that he wants to accomplish in the next quarter, but he should be intentional in just providing one key point that he's working towards for the next quarterly memo. If Mark decides to implement all of these strategies and emphasize all of these key points in his communication, he will be able to see a net positive in his trust that is building from the shareholders. Thank you. Lastly, these are my sources.